Hey everyone, I just wanted to briefly pass on some blatantly obvious information. Yesterday was my first visit to a magistrate court. It wasn't on behalf of myself, it was purely to give moral support to a friend of mine who wished me not to be myself, but just to play their game and act on behalf of my person. And I thought, we've been through a lot and I totally respect his wishes. So that was why I was there. But at the same time, it was a learning process for me, having not been before. And because it was a totally new experience, it was utterly bizarre. I suited up, three-piece pinstripe with my symbolic noose. And upon entering, I had to empty out all my pockets. Now I have many pockets. I carry around loads of things, which include my spy pen and a tiny video recorder that's got a camera on it. Now I've also got a keyring penknife which got a pair of scissors on it. Really useful tiny thing. Anyway, I'd written my character reference for him as an affirmation of truth, and at the end I'd prayed that the court would offer him help and not punishment under his circumstances. Then my friend's brief had interpreted this as me being a Christian, which I can sort of half understand. I'd thrown a few phrases in there which I believe the courts would view in a good light, having an understanding perhaps of some of the Christian terms and Masonic terms that show a depth of character. Not that I was trying to appear a coward, that wasn't the intent at all, but just showing the depth of character that both I have and he shares. Anyway, when I went through security and emptied my pockets, the guy picked up the pen. So I immediately said, well, that's a recording pen. He says, yes, I thought it was. I says, yeah, I've got a camera too, and picked that up and passed it to him. But then he picks up this penknife. Now bearing in mind, it's smaller than my thumb, goes on my key ring. And he says, you can't take a knife into court. I replied, look man, it's got a pair of scissors on it. I carry it everywhere. But I surrendered these items and signed myself as my legal fiction, but that was thoughtless. I didn't even bloody read it. I was quite annoyed at myself with that. But then, I'm a humble fool. And it is surprising how we do react as opposed to respond in certain given situations of authority. So it was a learning process for me. But shortly afterwards, my friend was called away. And his brief spoke to him for about 10 minutes because it had been called to his attention, or it had been called to the court's attention, that his colleague had entered with a recording equipment and a knife. It's a fucking penknife. I'd struggle to kill a gerbil with this. But anyway, his brief was really concerned that I was going to create problems for him. And I was merely there to sit quietly and just observe. So it was very, very bizarre. But I just wanted to point out that now I know, don't take a knife into court. That was all. But thanks everyone that's contacted me about my perspective and my stand and how others see that I might not be quite right in it, and the common law and the civil law, and it's very complex, but I do appreciate that we're all on our own unique journeys and we're all learning and sharing as much as we can in what seems to be an ever increasingly compacted space of time. But I got my fingers crossed and sending out the good thoughts and the good vibes that it's all going to work out fine. Everything's okay. But I did think I'd like to just share this with you. But I left the court knowing one thing for certain. It's just business. That is what it is. It's just business. And I know that when I do have to finally enter there, it will be in a totally different set of circumstances, and I will be myself. How that takes me, whether I have to learn to steer my ship and navigate these bizarre waters, I don't know. Because it is also apparent to me that these lower level courts, all the magistrates' courts, they cannot see the man. They are blind to him. Anyway, thank you for your time. Not that this will help, but it is my experience and I'd like to share it. So, peace be with you all, brothers. Bye for now.